Hello everyone, my name is Jenna, but you guys can call me Jan. Welcome back to my channel. It's the start of another weekend vlog. Hi, hello. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all enjoying the beginning of May. Currently it's still April for me, but for you guys it's May, which is wild. How are we already May? I don't understand it. We're so close to this second story publishing day. I just checked my dashboard on both Ingram Spark and KDP. I have never really said it out loud, but my goal for pre-orders was like 25 pre-orders because I figured, I'm not that big of a YouTuber, kind of stuff like that. I figured maybe a few people would pre-order and stuff like that, but I just loaded in my reports today and there are 9 ebook pre-orders and 24 paperback pre-orders just from the US alone. So on Ingram Spark, the pre-orders, like the pre-order reports come in, or order reports come in at like the end of the month whenever the stores like release their numbers. So I've only gotten the US report. So there's gonna be more because all my friends are Canadian and I know that they've all bought copies because they've told me. So that's gonna come in. And I know at least 3 people from the UK have pre-ordered because I've talked to them and they've told me that people from the UK have pre-ordered. So like when those numbers come in, that number's gonna jump. I've already beat my goal of 25 pre-orders. That's crazy. And I know that's such a tiny number in like the grand scheme of things, but as a indie author coming from a tinier platform, like my YouTube subscribers, I haven't yet been monetized. I don't get that many watch hours. You guys are all amazing and I love you so much. And you guys are so supportive of me. Like in the grand scheme of things, there's not many of you. There's like almost 1,200 of you now, which is very exciting and also kind of scary because it's 1,200 of you. But there's that, and then there's about 2,600 of you on TikTok. So I didn't expect there to be a ton of pre-orders, but there are already a number of them. And that just makes me so excited and so happy. So we'll see how many come in. And this is all before it's even published. So hopefully I can keep this momentum up. That's so fun. Anyways, just thought I'd give you that little update. We are so close for a second story to be in your guys' hands. I'm so excited. Anyways, what's going on this weekend? This weekend, it's officially the end of April, the end of Camp NaNoWriMo. I still don't have a finished draft for A Little Luck. So in a perfect world, this weekend is going to be me focusing on ending this draft. Yet I don't know how well that's gonna work just because it's 2 days. It's 2 days to finish a draft. I'm sitting at about 68,000 words. I've kind of split it into parts now. So there are 5 parts in a second story and there are currently 5 parts in A Little Luck, but it remains to be seen whether there are more. I think 5 parts is a good amount. So we're in part 5. We're 2 chapters into part 5. So hopefully I can get the next bundle of chapters done. I'm trying to like balance in my head how much I want this ending to be, because I know like the ending. I have it in my head and I know how like this is gonna go. So the next part is completely focused on the actual moon festival that the book is based around. But I don't know how much I want to focus on it because the majority of the book so far has been really just focused on Lottie and Kier. And it might end up being something that I go back and fix after I get opinions from beta readers, because I just don't know if I've done this story justice. I focused so much on Lottie and Kier and very little on the actual festival prep, which I guess is okay. I just have to see how well I want to balance the ending and how quick I want to get through the ending kind of vibe. I have a few scenes left that I really want to write, so we'll see. But tomorrow, during my live stream, I'm going to be doing the planning that I meant to do last weekend. And hopefully getting a few good chapters in. And then tomorrow night, or evening, I'm not actually sure when I'm going, but I'm going over to my friend's place, friend Sophia's place, for a little like writing night. So hopefully I get a little bit done there too. It's gonna be lovely and fun and relaxing as well. She's also got 3 babies. She's got 3 little kitties. So that's gonna be exciting. 2 kittens and Gaia, who's a little older, but 3 cats, which is very exciting. So that's gonna be tomorrow. And then Sunday, it's gonna be Sunday. But as for what I'm gonna be reading this weekend, because I would really like to get a fair amount of reading done. Last weekend, if you were here, I did have a very weird reading mood, and I think I'm getting out of it now. I did start Caliban's War, which is the second. One of my books just went flying. It is now perched very precariously on my couch. I started Caliban's War, which is the second book in the Expanse series, which I haven't yet continued in. I'm about 150 pages in, and hopefully we'll be continuing this weekend at some point. So I have this one, but yesterday I started The Monsters We Defy by Leslie Penelope, which is a library book of mine. I ended up getting the audiobook for this. I am so hooked. I am about 30% of the way through. I'm on page 122. I am so hooked. There's so much intrigue in this. It's so fun. So far, we have our main character, Clara Johnson, who has these really interesting powers that aren't really explained. She can essentially talk to spirits. And in this book, she helps people by putting them in contact with these spirits and essentially giving them deals. So there's always a charm and a trick attached to these deals. So these charms are what they want, but for what they want, they have to do a payment. And so these tricks kind of fall around these people and that kind of stuff. So I really like that aspect of it. Then there's also the fact that there is a mystery happening. And this is reminding me a lot of the Library of the Dead by T.L. Huchu, with the same spirit world sense of something going on, and person in the real world who has a connection to the spirits has to help them and figure out what's going on. All these people are going missing. In the Library of the Dead, children were going missing and then appearing drained of all their life essence and they've aged 80 years and are completely nonverbal. In here, people are going missing, and before they go missing, they lose themselves. They are just husks of people. Nobody knows where they're going. As of yet, no one knows where they're going. But Clara knows, because one of the spirits that she's made a deal with has told her that it's all because of a ring. So she has to get this ring off of this really, really high level person. She's this really rich lady who's never alone and never takes the ring off. And so it's also a heist, which is so fun. There's so many layers. There's so much intrigue. I want to know what's going on. So I'm going to definitely be reading this weekend and finishing it. But I want to kind of read it tonight kind of a thing and get a good chunk done. And then tomorrow as well. But other than those two, I have 3 others that I would like to dabble in potentially. So this past week, I ended up going to the bookstore. I went to go get a prescription, and it was really gloomy outside, and I was just in my car on the way to the prescription place, on the way to Costco. I was going to Costco because my pharmacy's in Costco. I was just I really don't want to go into Costco. So I was like, you can treat yourself and go to Indigo afterwards. So I did, and I picked up 2 books. One of the books is The Tyranny of Faith, which is the sequel to The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. And I was going to read that this weekend, but I almost want to do a revisit of The Justice of Kings because I want to be in the mood for that really dark fantasy, because it is grimdark, murder mystery, incredible, interesting, twisted morals and stuff. So I really want to reread The Justice of Kings to dive into The Tyranny of Faith, but I'm going to do that very soon because I'm kind of in the mood. My mood is shifting a little bit to darker fantasy right now. But the other book that I got was Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, because this has been tearing up TikTok. And this is from what I can tell, an enemies to lovers YA. I didn't realize it was YA, but I picked it up because I felt this, the way that it's got a chokehold on some people on TikTok has got me so intrigued and makes me think that this might be what gets me out of my weird reading mood that I'm currently in. So this is an option, and one that I definitely want to get to really soon if I don't get to it this weekend. I also have Tress of the Emerald Sea, which is a complete 180 from what I just told you about the fact that I want to be in, I'm getting into a darker mood. But when I put this on my couch earlier, I was in a soft, happy mood. Might get to Tress. I might also keep this for after I read the entire Poppy War trilogy, because that is a very dark trilogy, and I feel like this will be a good palate cleanser for that. So maybe that's what I'll do. But that one's on the radar. And of course, I have a book club book that I do need to get to, The 7 Moons of Maali Almeida. I do need to get to this very soon. So maybe I'll be starting this weekend as well. But yeah, so the main focus is definitely going to be The Monsters We Defy, because I'm loving this. We love a heist. Truly. And then I'm going to kind of keep trekking away at Caliban's War, because this is a big chunky boy. But if I'm feeling sci-fi, definitely will pick this up. Or anything really epic, we'll pick that up. But if I'm really feeling it, I'm going to pick up the Divine Rivals book. So it's going to be a good weekend of reading. I just have that. I have the feeling. And it's going to be a good weekend of writing. Tonight, I didn't do any writing because I'm not in the mood. on Fridays, for some reason, I should be, because it's like the end of the week and I have time finally to sit and write, but I don't know. On Fridays, I just want to sit and consume content. It's the end of the week. I'm tired. I'm done. So that's what I've been doing. I've been just kind of sitting here and scrolling through stuff. And I had my computer open on my lap, and I did think about a few things that I want to do, but I think tomorrow, with tomorrow's live stream and then the writing evening at my friend's, I'm going to get a lot of work done and like productive, good work in thinking forward in the story. Because I feel like I might just be scared about A Little Luck now because I've reached the end of what I've written previously. So now it's all me. I have to completely fast draft this next part. And it's been a little while since I fast drafted something. So I'm a little scared, but I think I just need to break through that and actually do the writing and actually get started for me to break through that. So tomorrow I will. But yeah, it's now 11:30. So I'm gonna hang out here for a little bit. And then I think I'm gonna read a little bit of The Monsters We Defy and then go to bed. Let me know how you guys are doing. If it's spring where you are now, officially it's actually starting to get nice and is starting to get a little warmer outside here, which is nice. Finally, it was like 11 degrees Celsius today. We love to see it. It was overcast, kind of rainy, so it was a little chilly, but I went outside in sandals because I refuse to wear closed-toe shoes now. Yeah, it's May, which is just one step closer to the summer months for us, which is exciting. I'm hoping the warmth kind of comes in a little bit more so that I can just keep my windows open at all times. It's the dream. Second story is coming out in less than 2 weeks. I'm so excited. By the time you guys see this, it's gonna be like 9 days away, which is crazy. I will catch up with you guys a little later. Saturday. I am here just ready for bed because it's like 1 a.m. So technically it is Sunday, but I digress. Today was lovely, kind of productive day. Not as productive as I wanted it to be, but that's fine. There's always tomorrow. There's always tomorrow to keep working. What did I get up to today? Live stream earlier today. Got about 700 words down in Project Luck, and I did a bit of the planning that I intended to do. I now have a list of characters for all my performers, which is great. Not as many words as I wanted to get. I think that fear of the unknown and the new is getting me a little bit. I think I've explained in other videos. I'm not sure if I explained it in this one, but just the fact that I'm at the end of what I've previously written. Everything else is brand new, and it's been a while since I fast drafted, so that fear of the unknown is unreal, and it has been blocking me a little bit for this past week and a bit. Hopefully tomorrow I can break through it. But today I ended up adding, as I said, about 700 words during that live stream, and then I went over to my friend Sophia's, which was lovely. Got to meet her cats, got to see her place for the first time. I ended up adding about 100 words total. I did read a lot of the last few chapters that I have, and I moved a lot of words around in the kind of way of like I would write a whole bunch and then I would go into a later part and then delete a whole paragraph. So like it kind of ended up being null and void for a lot of adding words because I was also deleting words. So in total I added about 100 words. And then when I came home, I did a little bit more work on it, and I think I added about 1,300 words today in total. So not my usual like 5,000-6,000 words that I've been seeing with this project in the last little bit, but that's a-okay because I'm not copy pasting. These are all fresh words now, so hopefully tomorrow I get more. We are just under the 70k mark and I'm aiming for 80k, and yet I don't know how much more of the story I have to go through. So like I kind of know, but in my head it's simultaneously like 2 chapters long and then like 10 chapters long. Like it could be either or at this point, depending on how much I want to go into it. So I'm still trying to see how the story kind of works for me and how it wants to come out of me, you know? It's a little bit of a scary spot to be in because if you guys know anything about me, I am a plotter. I work with structure and an outline. I literally, for both A Second Story and A Little Luck, when I was planning them out, I did it scene by scene with the chapter cards in Scrivener. And so I have that laid out for A Little Luck. So I will be going off of that. But a lot of it by the end here was just kind of feelings and like, this happens, question mark. And then the next scene is one sentence. We'll see how that ends up going. Hopefully it's not too much more. Hopefully I can get the momentum and get to the end of the story, because I'm at the point now where the slow burn is bothering me. I've literally had to write in the notes on the side of my Scrivener file, just like, why haven't they kissed yet? That kind of a thing. Because they're at the point where they've now basically said to each other, like, I like you. And we've kind of had the issue of Lottie. She doesn't live in Airmount. Her job, like, takes her everywhere. And she's like, I'm not staying. I'm leaving. They both very well know that Lottie's leaving very soon. So we've had that come out. But, like, that's not the problem in the relationship. There really isn't a problem. Like, well, there is, obviously, because, like, the fact that they won't start the relationship is the problem. Like, there's no darkest moment in their relationship in this book, because I've decided to not do that. The darkest moment is something else that happens in one of the other storylines, but the fact that I've gotten to the point of, like, multiple scenes now where I could have had them kiss, and me as the author, I'm just like, do I keep with my original plan of where I'm gonna have them kiss, which would be, you know, explosive and wonderful as I have it planned, or do I buckle under the stress of me wanting them to kiss so bad and have them kiss a lot earlier? I don't know. So that's what I did today, writing wise. I also made it to the halfway mark in the Monsters We Defy. Still really loving it. My plan is to wake up tomorrow and finish that right away, because I don't think I have that much longer on the audiobook. It is a fairly short book. I just need to actually have the time to devote to it. I had like maybe 45 minutes today in total to devote to it. So, and then I would really, really love to do a good chunk of writing tomorrow. I think I'm gonna either have to find some sprints online to do or set up my own kind of like 20-minute sprints where I can just hammer out as many words as I can, try to push myself to the end of the story or as close as I can get. And then I would really like to start Divine Rivals tomorrow so that I have another book underway, or listen to Caliban's War, some more of that, if I'm feeling a little bit of sci-fi. That's the game plan. Today went so quickly too. I don't know what it is about weekend days. They just vanish. And I think it's because it's a day that you anticipate so much, because you're like, oh, it's the weekend, I get to relax a little bit, right? And then you're here and then it's just gone. Anyways, I'm gonna go to bed and I will catch you guys tomorrow for Sunday. Little bean. Hello. You're beautiful. Hello. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Hey, hi, sweetie. friends, happy Sunday. I am here, just got home from mom and dad's. I'm about to pack in for the night, or for the evening I guess, for some writing, reading, content, watching, all the good stuff, all the stuff you know. But yeah, today's been a lovely day. Very productive, even more productive than yesterday. Same amount of word count as I got yesterday, but today I decided to just hunker down and try unlock whatever the hell is locked in my head about this last chunk of the book. And I ended up writing, both simultaneously writing by hand, like being like, okay, this is what happens at the end of the book, bit by bit, starting from a place that I had already written. So I wasn't just staring at a blank page. I started there, and then I kept going back and forth between my document and my notebook to basically kind of just see how things were flowing and how things were going to go, which is fantastic because I ended up deciding on something that I realized I was like humming and hawing about all last night and this morning, as I was kind of just like, it was just stewing in my brain, you know, humming and hawing about this choice that I had made. And I decided to go back on it and do something different, which makes so much more sense for clarity of plot. I was really happy that I managed to like iron that out, and I ended up writing an entirely new scene today, which is so lovely. I'm so glad that I did. And it brought in another character that I hadn't really had in the story for a little bit, so I'm glad that I brought him back. I did tighten and streamline some of the ending stuff that I had originally planned, and it looks like I kind of know what I'm doing here from here on out. Looks like it. Got stuff written down. All the things are going. So life is pretty good. It still feels like it could be only a few chapters or like 10 more. So we're gonna see how things pan out. It is currently 7:45, and I think Amy has her live stream tonight at 8:20 as usual. So we're gonna get work done during that. But I think past that live stream, I'm not gonna work very much more unless the inspiration bug strikes, and I have to, because I really want to start reading Divine Rivals. I've been thinking about it all day because I finished The Monsters We Defy today, and my guys, this was so good. This was so good. It is a perfect 1920s heist novel with magic and ghosts and spirits and all this kind of stuff. It is a wonderfully, wonderfully done book. I am obsessed. It is, I think I compared it to The Library of the Dead by T.L. Huchu with the spirit kind of vibes, which is exactly what it feels like. It feels like that meets like, I want to say almost like Ocean's 11 vibes, just because of the heist, but not quite. I haven't actually watched Ocean's 11, so I couldn't tell you exactly the vibes of Ocean 11 if that fits, but it's got the heist vibes, which we love. It's got like multiple instances of this like group of people who have no idea what they're doing. They're not career criminals. They're just trying to do this thing to like basically save their city kind of thing. It was fantastic. I highly loved this so much. It was so much fun. So much fun. I highly recommend. So yeah, it's about Clara. I think I explained it earlier. Clara, who's trying to steal a ring. She kind of ends up gathering a bunch of people around her. There's also a little bit of a love story in here, which is really nice. And all the other characters were just absolutely fantastic in here. I loved them all. I wish we had actually gotten more of Zelda, the one character. I wish we got more about her. She seems so interesting and so snappy. I really enjoyed this. So loved this. So I think I'm gonna do a little bit of writing, kind of get settled in here, and then later I will start Divine Rivals because I really want to give it a try and see how things are working with it. But for now, we got the old computer. We got the notebook in front of me, and we're just gonna kind of get settled in here until Amy's stream starts. Hopefully I get more creativity done, more productivity done, all that good stuff. But it's lovely, and it's also bright and sunny out. I have my windows open right now. I'm so happy. It's like 11 degrees, 10 degrees, and I'm thriving. It's wonderful. This brightness is the best. It's so good. I am going to kind of get started here, settle all the things up, and I'll chat with you guys a little later. Hello friends, it is a little bit later. It's a lot later. It's 1 a.m. because what's new? I have just making toast. I like the occasional toast at 1 a.m. with peanut butter and jam because I'm a child. But I wanted to pop in because this evening has been great, productive, which we love. I don't have a finished draft to speak of, but I did add another like 2,000 words today. So, oh, it's very dark in my place. I have no lights on. except for the one in my kitchen. There we go. That'll work. I added about 2,500 words, I think, which is fantastic. We love to see it. 2,500 words. So we're now sitting at about 71K, 72K, something like that. Did I explain to you that I already sat down today and just wrote out my life? I think I did. So having that's nice because now I kind of know better the direction I'm going in this next chunk of the book. I'm really hoping it's not a large chunk because I do want to have it done by this first week of May. But besides that, I started Divine Rivals. There we go, Divine Rivals. I'm really liking this book. I really, really am. It's definitely new and entrancing. The book itself is so sweet and soft, and I can only equate... Oh, I left my window open. It's freezing in here. Oh, god damn. This is what happens when you live in Canada. It's springtime. Everything is cold. Divine Rivals. It's very soft, very sweet. It's got such a wonderful writing style. I'm thriving. I'm annotating the hell out of it. It's just so interesting. It's so I keep forgetting it's fantasy. And then I'm every time I'm reminded, I'm oh yeah. And it's almost like I'm jarred out of the story a little bit every time I'm reminded. Not in a bad way though, just in a really different way. Because I think I'm so used to reading fantasy, especially urban fantasy or anything like that, that sets up the world building pretty well. And it just it actually explains what's going on from the beginning, and the world you're in, you get a good picture of it. But this one, every other minute, I keep thinking we're just in this kind of historical city in our world where these two kids are vying it out to be the columnist in a newspaper. And then every once in a while there's a line dropped about the war between the gods, and I'm oh yeah, there's a god war going on. There's magic. And the buildings and houses that they're in are kind of sentient, which is really fun. But yeah, the little dustings of magic make it feel, I don't know, almost as though this is a fantasy masquerading as a sci-fi, because it feels sparkly and new like technology does. But it's magic, and it's not new to them. It's just an everyday thing. But people, I don't think people can control magic. I don't know. There's so many unanswered questions about the world building in this. But what the little itty bitty tidbits we've got so far are very realistic as to what it would be like actually living in this world as a character. Because you wouldn't go out of your way to explain stuff, right? You're just living in it. And the most explanation we've gotten is because Iris, our main character, is trying to look up some information on the gods, because she's I didn't actually learn a whole lot about the gods in school. We were just taught a couple myths and that was it. I want to know more about the gods because we're currently in the middle of a god war, because two gods woke up and they hate each other. She's why do they even hate each other? It's really interesting because there's such a cool way of learning the lore, because she's a journalist. So she's going and doing her research, and then she's, she's writing down the stories. And then this is almost like a magical you've got mail situation, which is really fun because Iris has a typewriter from her grandma, and she's been typing letters to her brother, who's currently missing in action. He was called to the war, but he's never sent word home or anything. They've literally not heard anything from him for months and months. So she's been writing letters to him forever, and instead of actually sending them anywhere, she's been putting them under her wardrobe, which is something that she used to do with her grandma when they were little. And she's doing this, and the first day that she did that, the letter vanished. So Iris has been just kind of sending these letters thinking they're going to her brother in some kind of capacity, because she's I don't know, this house is sentient. Anything could be real. And one day she gets a letter back saying, this isn't Forrest. Her brother's name is Forrest. And then she starts up this conversation with this person who's on the other side. And the person on the other side is her arch nemesis, of course. Her competitor at work, this guy named Roman. So far, this doesn't feel YA to me. It doesn't have the typical tropey angst that we really get. It doesn't have all the feelings. I think what I've really realized and come to realize in the past little bit is that I love when YAs are written from third person, and I have a really hard time with ones that are written from first person, because the first person ones, we get too many feelings. But this one doesn't feel like a YA. So far, Divine Rivals is doing it, and I'm reading it without an audiobook. You guys better be proud of me, because you know how much I read books with audiobooks. I literally have such a hard time reading books without audiobooks to stay focused, but I am literally 128 pages in, and I just want to keep going, but I can't because I have work tomorrow. So I'm enjoying this. But yeah, the way that the world feels so just mundane, and then every once in a while there's a comment about the God War, it feels a little jarring. And I think that's just because we haven't really been settled into the world building like you would be in a epic fantasy, you know? We're just here. We're just living in the journalistic life. We're on the sidelines of the war, so pushed away that we don't get the magic. We're just like the civilians in the superhero movie, you know? Feels like that. So I'm gonna keep reading. Not right now. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna eat my toast. It's probably cold now. But it's been a good weekend. Finished Monsters Redefy. Absolutely loved it. Started this one. I'm really liking it. It could potentially be a new favorite if it continues the way it's going, and if it treats the world building really, if it gets better. I'm not jarred every time I'm reminded that there are gods in this world who are currently at war. It's such a weird like combination, because it's got like guns and bombs and like a typical World War. I think that's what it is. It's a typical World War II kind of feeling of a setting, because it's also of the age of like arranged marriages and stuff like that. And you'll do your duty for our family kind of a thing, and mixed with like bombs and shit. But then there's also like mentions of like wyverns flying around and gods fighting and magical buildings. So I want to settle into the world building a little bit more. I don't want it to feel so jarring. And if it fixes that, it could be a new favorite 5-star, depending on how this goes. I've heard so many good things about it. And the fact that this is a TikTok book, I'm really irritated about. But there's another TikTok book. I'm irritated because most of the time the TikTok books that are really, really hyped up are just kind of lackluster. So this one's hitting though. This one's hitting though. And there's another one that's been on TikTok for a while now, or for the past couple of days, called Fourth Wing, that I'm interested in. I wasn't really interested in when I first started reading it, but then someone pitched it today that it has dragons in it. And I was like, oh shit, well I have to read it now because dragons are my favorite. But yeah, I want to ask if you guys have ever given into the hype on a TikTok book, and if it lived up to the hype. What book was it? Tell me if you liked it. I would love to know. I don't think I've ever given into the hype for books on TikTok specifically. It's always been like a book that's been on my radar because of other reasons. Like with The Song of Achilles, it's one of my friend's favorite books, and I've known that for a while. And she got me to read Circe and The Song of Achilles, so it's her IRL, real life. And then a lot of the other books that I'm interested in, I'm aware of them because of BookTube. But now, because I'm so active on TikTok and BookTube, I don't know where I get my book recommendations from, because I see books everywhere and I'm just aware of them at all times. But this one is very specifically, TikTok is convincing me to read this. I'm gonna enjoy my toast and the rest of it here and go to bed, but I will chat with you guys tomorrow. Hello, my lovely friends. Happy Monday. I'm here, just got home from work, and I'm wearing my new NaNoWriMo t-shirt. Not a t-shirt, long sleeve. I finally decided that I was going to treat myself to some NaNoWriMo merch, because I've won so many times and I've done so many things with NaNoWriMo that I'm like, I need merch. And this is so pretty. Like, what a stunning design. I love it. And I love the fact that it doesn't have a date on it. I say that, it might be hidden in the design, but it doesn't have like the year or anything, because this is their Camp Nano merch, which I think it's their Camp Nano merch. I could be wrong, but so happy that I have this. It took a while to get here, but that's fine. I didn't win this NaNoWriMo though. As you guys know, at this camp, because I don't have a finished draft, which is what my goal was. But it's okay, because I've won so many other ones that's all right. I don't mind. And we're basically, like, the goal was essentially the end of April, probably the first week of May. Like, I kind of knew going in that it wasn't going to be a done deal at the end of April, but wearing this, very happy about it. Just got in the mail today. We love it. It's been such a lovely weekend, you guys. I am so happy with the reading that I got done. Finished The Monsters Redefy by Leslie Penelope. This is a 4.5 star for me. So much fun. If you're looking for a heist book, pick this one up. It is so good. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely adored it. And like every good heist book, there is a little bit of a found family in it, which we love. Found family is my favorite trope anyways, so that's why I gravitate to it. And of course, I read a little bit of Divine Rivals. I'm going to keep going with this one. I'm really liking it. So fingers crossed, everything keeps going well. But you guys have heard all of my thoughts about this one in this video. And yes, I did a little bit of writing at work today because I had 2 students not come, so I had 2 different half-hour slots where I just decided to do some writing. So happy about that. Continuing on with a little luck, which we love to see. And hopefully things come together by the end of this week and I have a finished draft. And I can take a little bit of a breather before I dive into book 3, because that is the plan. I think I'm going to leave the week of release week of the second story blank of writing, because it's release week. I'm going to be hype about release week. So go pre-order. It's live. Please go pre-order. I'm so excited. Anyways, my friends, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this weekend. It's been a blast. I will catch you in another video very soon. Stay kind and keep on reading.